So this is going back to, the famous frat house. What was that famous frat house movie?
Animal House?
Animal House. Yeah, so Animal House. So
everybody, and that would be with John Belushi.
Yeah, everybody remembers Animal House. And so people, frat houses have a reputation of, drinking and partying and other kind of thing like that. But then recently the Rolling Stones got into it with, I think it was Phi Kappa Psi at University of Virginia, and all kinds of things were alleged. So what happened on that one recently?
So the reporter basically, in a few words or less, she did a sloppy job. She used one source on this story, a Rolling Stone reporter wanting to, kind of uncover sexual crimes on college campuses. She went to UVA, found a girl to talk to. She told her whole story. She didn't, go out to seek this guy named Drew, who was the accused attacker, and his friends as part of the gang rape that maybe took place. But and Columbia Journalism School kind of did a review of her story, found all these holes in it, found that, that potentially the school, or I'm sorry, the magazine could be liable for, being sued.
Yeah, we're talking about defamation of character of the entire frat house, the fraternity, and the question is, was there a real person named Jackie who was raped ever?
She definitely exists, but Washington Post was the first to realize that, the party that she was at where it apparently took place never happened. This guy that she apparently worked with at the Aquatic Center didn't exist. So it was definitely the fault on the reporter, her editors. They've now gotten their big media defense team in place. The fraternity is not sued yet, but the most recent development is that the dean, who's named in the story, actually did sue this week for $8 million.
Okay, so the dean, I think that is a Nicole Ivamo?
Aramo, yeah.
Okay. I think didn't the Rolling Stone story say that Jackie went and talked to the dean. Dean told her you shouldn't report this because we didn't want UVA to get a reputation as a rape school. Was that part of the story, or something implied about that?
Right.
And what did the dean say about that accusation or allegation from the Rolling Stone?
So she has since received lots of hate mail from across the country, saying she's a worthless piece of trash. And so she's suing also, on behalf of UVA administration, saying that this, suing for libel, I believe, yes. So.
But I mean, did she deny, did she admit that she's told Jackie this, or she denied that?
I think that is in the complaint, right, that it didn't go how she
depicted so she didn't tell her not to report.
So this is another one of the holes in the story, is that did the reporter
I think it's Sabrina Rubin.
Yeah, Rubin.
Rubin. I think she's a freelance reporter.
She's a freelance reporter. She's not even an employee of Rolling Stone. But Rolling Stone chose to publish this. But did Rolling Stone talk to the dean prior to publishing this story?
To fact check everything, I believe they did try to contact all the sources that were named in the story, but as far as the main source that Sabrina talked to, it was only this Jackie, and that was the main problem. She really didn't have many sides to the story, only what Jackie's account was. She recounted.
Okay, so was there any physical evidence? Did Jackie file a police report after this happened? What happened to that? What did the police say about all this?
No, so the police went ahead. I mean, after the story came out, UVA was very much like,
sometime after the alleged incident, like a month or two later or something like that?
Well, this is not until after the story came out. The Charlottesville Police Department, when it investigated, found that there was no evidence that a rape took place. So that came out in March, and then the Columbia Journalism Review came in saying that the story, had a lot of problems with it, and then the fraternity now has decided to sue, but there's also speculation, is that a good idea? Because if a fraternity sues, a lot of skeletons might come out of their closet if they decide to they want to pursue that.
The dean's thinking of suing it.
She already did, for sure.
I have a question. The dean has filed on behalf of the university.
Was it the Charlottesville police not finding any credible evidence? Is that what started triggering other organizations to start investigating the story to see whether it's true or not?
I think Washington Post was the first one to try to, actually go in and fact check. I think.
But that was after it was published, right?
Right.
Okay. Okay.
Now
So
it's
the
been
other question-
retracted in full,
So,
right?
so
the story.
basically, so this Drew person, apparently Jackie said, or maybe the article said, that she knew him from working with him at the swimming pool or something like that, and that he was a student at UVA. Now, where is he now?
I think it's a
And
mystery
he was also
figure.
supposed to be. He was supposed to be a member of the frat house, right?
Right.
And has he been located? Where's he?
I think it's a mystery figure. I mean, I think the friends that were named in the story after it happened to Jackie, they definitely think something traumatic happened to her. But as far as this guy Drew and the people she claimed assaulted him, they can't track them down. They don't know where they are.
So I mean, does Drew exist, or is he? Are they hiding him in the basement of Phi Kappa Psi? Or,
Phi Kappa Psi.
I mean, where is Drew? I mean, or did he never exist, or is he run into hiding, or what happened?
Right.
Here?
I think that's unclear. I mean, I think.
Oh, you would think you would think that they could probably look at if he was going to the university, worked at the aquatic center. How many people work at the aquatic center? It's got to be like 10 people.
How many people named Drew
Yeah,
work at the aquatic
no
center,
guy.
and they're a member of
Phi Kappa.
Phi Kappa Psi?
I mean, it's like
I'm having a hard time trying to understand. Wait a minute. You know the Rolling Stone has done some outstanding.
Well, the Rolling Stone.
No,
Wait a minute. The Rolling Stone. No, the Rolling Stone does roll a few of their own.
They roll too many of their own, but they
roll
still do great journalism.
Yeah.
And they've been known for 35 years of doing great journalism. Why would the Rolling Stone go to this extreme to print a story without any material fact being checked?
Yeah.
What's your opinion on that?
Right. As a writer, I mean, I think the whole thing, everyone, loses because, journalism loses some credibility because of someone like her. The editors, I think one of the editors, when he found out that all this was happening, was like, this was the worst day of my life, because it does fall on the people who are supposed to fact check the writers that they hire to do stories.
Well, I mean, I think it was just too good. I mean, it's such a great story, because UVA is a very privileged university, right? So it's the 1%, white male, 1%, gain rate.
Heaven forbid.
I mean, that's a great
and
story.
with Hillary Clinton
Thomas
coming up
Jefferson.
for office, what better way than to show a woman was raped?
But I'm
And
just
the next
saying
thing in the story, it's got to be a woman president.
No, and the
because
dean,
a woman was raped.
The dean was a woman president, right? And she's telling women who have been raped, don't report it. We cover this up. I mean, this is a great story. It's pretty hard to pass up.
Yeah, and
unfortunately,
I gotta tell you, was this a Pulitzer Prize-winning story if it was true?
If it was true, this would be
could have been.
crazy.
It could have easily been.
Sabrina was on every news show talking about, her journalism, and then all of a sudden her Twitter account went blank, and she was never heard from
if it had been a real story, I mean, this
If
was
Sabrina can we still contact Sabrina?
I'm
get her on
glad
the
I'm not
show.
Sabrina.
No.
Yeah.
But I do have a question.
But where's
Is
Drew?
she
That's my
individually
question.
liable for any of this? Does anyone have an opinion on that? Should she be individually
well,
liable
she probably doesn't
for
have any
making up
money
a
now.
9,000-word essay
12.
and having it printed in a national magazine, defaming a top-ranked
Well,
university
I would imagine,
and a frat, a national frat?
I imagine on the, she's probably mentioned in the caption there. I would imagine she's on the caption.
It's the magazine's owner, and her being sued together. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I'm saying it seems to me, this is pretty. I mean, it's one thing to say, okay, this happened. I mean, it's like a Tawny Brawley. I mean, this happens all the time.
Tawny Brawley.
Hey. So these happen all the time.
That's Mr. Al Sharpton's girl.
And then, but I mean, this happens all the time because it's a good headline grabber. But to go as far as to say the dean tried to cover it up, I mean, that's a step further than any other of these scandals that we've seen before.
Yeah, this is the part that I don't really understand about the Rolling Stone. When you're quoting the name of a dean of a major university, you would think you would at least talk to that person's press secretary to see if she even ever had an appointment with a woman named Jackie related to some incident
And where
on
is
campus.
Jackie?
That's the part I don't
Now
even
the question
understand.
is, okay, so now is Jackie going to be called on the stand now? Are we going to see Jackie?
We're going to have to find out who Jackie is.
Is she going to be subpoenaed? I mean, can they find her, or is Jackie going to disappear like Drew? I mean, maybe Jackie's hiding a sorority and they're hiding Drew at the Phi Kappa High.
Well, wait a minute. Well, you know that there's been other writers that have written stories about imaginary people under imaginary conditions that have been. In fact, there was a gentleman about 5 years ago that wrote major stories for the New York Times. It was found out that his stories were all fake about inner city youth and things like that. So we know that this goes on, but the question is there a Jackie?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think she will definitely have to show her face
So
at some
Jackie,
point if this
Jackie
moves forward in court, right?
Jackie, you think does exist?
Yes.
He's a person. Drew apparently may or may not exist. We don't know.
Right.
It sounds like to find out whether he exists or ever exists wouldn't be that hard. I mean, you look through school records and look for a Drew, or you could interview those people. So I mean, either he existed and he's on the run, or they're hiding him somewhere, or he never existed.
Well, the whole thing I'm looking at is how could a national ranked magazine decide they're going to print an article without fact checking? 9,000 words is not exactly a blip. And I wanted to thank you both for tonight. And Tierney, thank you for coming on board and joining us for Law Talk.